Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. It's record. Good evening, everybody. Last week, I started to talk about materiality, the material. We say rupa. Last week I explained about something like the theory of the theory of the Theravada, because maybe different, for the physics. They have the atom, they have electron, they have neutron. They're explaining how the material is built. So in the Theravada, it's a little bit different, or a lot of different. I don't know to say a lot or a little bit, because Einstein say something like that. At the end, material and energy is the same thing. So this is something that we can see according to the Theravada. Somehow there is a relationship between, I don't know to say, energy or something like this, but I will. Last time I explained it, that actually what is the rupa? Rupa, it's not a something, okay? It's not a something. It's actually characteristics, or let's say realities or qualities. They are not by themselves, they are not the somethings. We call rupa. Or if we look for the basic things, what is the most particle, the small things that is the material built by? So I explained that, okay, if we talk about what is elementaric, it means that you cannot cut it anymore. I give example of the chair, that the chair built by many, let's say, wood. So if you break the wood, if you break it into pieces, at the end you get many wood that collect together. So when we look at them, when they are in certain combination, then we get a chair. But if we make different combination, we will get maybe table. Okay, same like Lego. When you combine the bricks of the Lego, this is something like the elementary things of the Lego. From this, you can create different things. So all the other things, it's kind of perceptions when we look at them. But in the reality, there is only the bricks. So what is this? I don't know to say, maybe even smaller than atom. It's like electron or neutron or whatever it is in the physics. According to Buddhism, this is the rupa, which the rupa itself, it's not something by itself, it's the quality. And I explained, if you take, you altogether, you have 28 quality like this. Okay, what I talked about last week. Quality like this. So when we bring them together, then we get something from this. And I give the example of candle, that actually fire or flame, if you take the oxygen, it's not a flame, okay? Second things, if you take wax, okay, or material, some wood or something like this is also not a flame. This is also not fire. The heat is also not fire. But when you meet them together, when you take the heat and the oxygen and the material like stick, okay, matches, and you bring them together, then you get something new, which is the flame of the fire, okay? So it means that when you meet three things like this, then you get something else. And this fire, how we recognize it? Because he have a color, because he have smell, because he have taste, because he have a temperature, okay? So according to the materiality from the Buddhism, there is a four things that if you bring them together, then you get other qualities. So what is these four qualities that I talk about? The first quality is the hardness. Okay, this is the hardness. It's like a solidity. If you take a sponge and you smash it, you say, "Oh, it's not hard." Okay, it's soft. So the soft itself is not the sponge, is not the, okay? If you take a stones and you touch the stones, it will be very hard. So the heart of the stones, it's not the stones, it's just characteristics of the stones, okay? So hardness, it's not something. It's just kind of characteristics or quality or element, okay? So this is one thing. The second thing, it's what we call gravitatia, or let's say the intent of things to contract, to go inside, okay, to smash into. So this kind of things is also not something. It's just characteristics in nature, okay. The gravitatia is something like the want to come together, to something like the water bring the things together. Okay, that's why we call it sometimes water element. The third thing, it's what we call it centrifuga. It's something like things want to run away. Okay, like to spread. The things want to spread, to go out. Okay, when you take some wire or something and you put maybe some stones, you turn it, so these stones want to run away. Okay, so this is the third element that we are taking, and the fourth element is the temperature. So I said that in the moment, according to the Theravada Buddhism, in the moment that these four elements come together, what happens is that immediately we get like solidity in space, okay, with the temperature. So this immediately bring ability for another characteristics to come up. For example, the color come from this, sound come from this, okay? So it's the same like I gave an example of the candles, which you give the temperature, okay, the heat, you give the oxygen, and you give the maybe the wood, and you meet them together, you get something new. So in this case, again, when you take the solidity, the contraction, the centrifuga or the things want to run away. So what happened is that the solidity suddenly became in a certain space, 3 dimension of things, very, very small, okay? But in temperature inside. So how can we recognize that this exists? Because we have sense doors. What happened with this meeting is that this meeting give ability to another characteristics to come up. For example, you have color for this, so eyes can see the color. You have smell, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel the temperature of it. It's become some kind of hard. For example, when you touch something, you cannot go in. Okay, you see one end is not capable to go in the other, and they're blocking each other. Okay, you get it in certain place. But this color, for example, sound, and weight, how heavy is it? Okay, what size is it? The space between one to the other one. Yeah, this is also characteristics. So altogether, we have 28 characteristics in the nature. And these 28 characteristics, they call rupa. Now, normally what happened, we said, that you take these four kind of rupa, the solidity, the fluidity, say like this, okay, the intent to contraction and temperature, you meet them together, then you get other rupas. For like as an example of color, taste, smell, and by this we can get the information. So all the time they will go as a group. They must go as a group, because in the moment that it's only solidity, still there is no such of effect like this. There is no color will come. If it will be only a fluidity, still no color will come, no smell will come. But only if you meet four of them, these four of them, they are basic to give ability to others characteristics to come. It means that's why they must go with a group of these four elements. And they are actually the basic things on of the physics, if we talk like this, of the material in the Buddhism. So when they go as a group, if we talk Pali, we say rupa, okay? Rupa, we call this kind of characteristic rupa. But what is mean in Pali group? It's mean klapa. So that's why we call it rupa klapa. It's mean group or combination or how they use another word to translate package, okay? Like you're packing together these four elements. So this something like, because we can recognize it by eyes, by ear, by smell, by taste, then we can say rupa klapa. You can say rupa klapa is the smallest particle of the Buddhism, if you call it like this. But you think that actually this is just the element. But when we see it, because we see the color, so we start to see something. But actually what we see is just the color. When we hear a sound of something, but actually it's not really something, it's just the sound. Okay, something like they say the hardness or the soft is not the sponge itself, but we recognize the sponge as something soft. So you see what the mind is doing. He takes this element, this information, and he remember it. He create perceptions about this. That's why we say this is not the first things. Okay, this is not elementary things. This is something that the mind create by the thinking that this is what is it. Okay, because he will recognize by the sense doors this kind of information. So immediately we create something on it. Okay, another phenomenon is this, that what happened to this Rupa Klapa, she coming to be, and then she became the maximum power that she have, okay? And in this time, when she became in the maximum power that she have, she give birth to another klapa. Why? Because she have a temperature. And what is making these klapas to come? It's the temperature. Okay, they are fitting by the temperature. So it's mean what happened to klapa? This kind of the elementary things or the most small things, he come to be, he stays sometimes and decaying, and then he disappear. But in the moment that he reached to the maximum age, or let's say yud, okay, same like you think, same like the mother, okay, she reached to 16 to 20 years, she give baby. And then she start to get old, aging, and then she's dying. But the baby, she also getting old. When she is getting into 16 years old or 20, she give another baby. She get in the maximum or the best situation that she can be, the most strong that she can be, she give birth to another one. This is actually happening in the flame also, because when the flame coming, I told you the meeting of temperature, oxygen, and the material, the flame coming, when the flame coming to be in the maximum power that she have, she given birth to another flame. And then this flame decay, and the next flame also, when she became, I use the word she, okay, became the maximum, she give another flame. So when we are looking, we think this is one flame actually, but officially it's not one flame. It's just one after the other, rising, ceasing, rising, ceasing. This is the Uttaya Payayana that the Buddha talk about. This is actually, I talk about all this physically, not to explain you about physics, to show you the anicca, dukkha, anatta, even through the material. So the material itself, it's not something created by our mind. It exists in the nature, but not the way that we're perceiving it. It's just the rupa, which is coming together, became like a klapa, living some time and disappear very, very fast. So there is all the time rising, ceasing. And what happened is because of this rising, ceasing, that they're all the time coming, give breath and die, coming. So that's why the cellular phone stay the same size, never changing. It's not become bigger or smaller. But what is influencing, like I said, is the temperature. And how you can see it, if I will warm the cellular phone, it means I will give more temperature. What will be is that maybe this cellular phone will start to melt. It will change its form. It means it create new kind of kappa. Now, one more thing I want to say. What happens when this combination of these four elements that I talk is coming? It depends how much the percentage from each one of them is there. This is how it's create what kind of color will come, how hard it will be, how big it will be, what the space that it will be there, if it will be liquid or it will be solidity. It depends on the amount of each one of these four elements: solidity, fluidity, contraction, and temperature. This is what we'll call them. That's why you have different variation of colors. By the way, even the light, it's built by clappers like this. Even the air, even everything in the nature is made like this. Even the body of angels, they built like this. Okay, they are just combination of these four elements, and when they are coming, depend on how many percentage or how much from each one. This is how it will manifest with the color, with the temperature, with the sound, with the when we seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling this kind of combination, we get it as a something. Okay, because the mind, to recognize. The mind cannot see the elementary things. It cannot see hardness. It cannot. This one you cannot cut. Okay, so this is about the things which they are not combination of body and mind. What happened with combination of body and mind? What we call sentient beings or animal. What kind of klapa or what depend on this? I'd say that normally every material is depend on temperature. What is feeding but we are as sentient beings, we also eating. So our klapa in our body is influenced also by food. It's depend on the food. Another things that we have as sentient beings, as an animal, as a creatures or whatever, it's that we have mental. So another things that influence on the klapa, it's also our mind. And the fourth things, which is very, very important, is our deeds, the good things and bad things that we are doing, what we call karma. So what is influencing in every material, these things, which is not sentient beings, okay? This is temperature. But if we talk about sentient beings, which is combination of 5 aggregates, because every material like this, it's one aggregate. It's only rupa, okay? It's only physical. There is no mind. But in the moment that you make 5 aggregate, what happens is that the rupa of the sentient beings is influenced by four things, like I said. And one of them, what is the meaning of temperature? I give you an example, very easy to see. In the moment that a person dies, in the moment that a person dies, his body don't disappear. His body just lay down on the floor, but he's not anymore a human being. He died already. There is no mind. In this moment, there is no mind. There is only body. But still it exists. Why? Because he influenced by temperature. If you burn him in the fire, he will be born. Okay? If you make him freeze, cold, so the temperature will change the body of a human being during the time, or he's not human being anymore, he's dying. Okay, so the dead person, he will decay slowly because of the changing of the time with the influence of the temperature, like any other things which don't have mind. So you see why, how can I show you that actually the body is also affected by temperature. Of course, if you go in the sun, you change the color, okay? So the temperature is affecting on us. Maybe we don't, we go too hot, we get dry, we can die because of this. Too cold, you can freeze. So our body is material. One thing is depend on the temperature, like every other material. But like I said, in our body or human being or sentient being's body, it's influence also about food. For example, when you are eating, suddenly you feel more tired, okay? Or what if you don't take a special vitamin or whatever like this, you will be sick. If you eat poisoned or food which is not good, you can die, okay? Or maybe going diarrhea, you not enough water, or whatever like this. So all the body, the physical element of the sentient beings not depend only on temperature, is also depend on the food. We call it in Pali, we use the word ahara. Okay? So by the way, the food itself, it's also klapa, also combination of these four elements that come together. So we are eating it, and then it's feeding our body. So this is the second things that our body or the body of the sentient beings depend. The third things that the klapa or the influence of sentient beings is the mind. Yeah? For example, when I want to do something, then I move my hand. This is mean that the physical element is making rising and ceasing in movement. Okay, but why it's happened? Because it's influenced by mind. It's not influenced by temperature in this case. I want to do something, and then I am moving, I'm holding it, I'm raising it because I want to do it. I start to walk, all the body move, walking. Okay, so this is one thing that you can say, that the physical element of the sentient beings is influenced by the mind. It's mean I can smile, you see all my body moving and my face move. Okay, maybe I do other things. So this is the influence by the mind. But it's not only this kind of influence by the mind. Another thing is that people practicing strong concentration, jhana. In the jhana, people, if they put themselves very, very strong concentration, we call it ED, supernormal power. If they, for example, concentrate on the hardness, their body will be like a stones. Okay, of course, you see people, they can break stones. Yeah? Why they can do it? Because they concentrate so strong and they change the form of the body to be very, very strong. That's why they can do it. Something like the thinking on the health element. Another options, people, they concentrate and thinking about water element. And what happened? They can walk on the water. That's why, for example, if they say Jesus walk on the water, no problem. This is no, then people can use the strong concentration, influence on the klapa of their body by thinking about water element, and then they can walk on the water. Okay. Another things, people will think about the earth element. Okay, something like the want to fly. Okay, flow. The body will influence on the kappa in which way they can fly. And this is just depend on. This is show you how the body is influenced by the mind. And this is depend on very, very strong concentration. Maybe today people don't believe that it exists or it's possible, but this is actually how it's working. That in the person, when he practice on, we call it kasna, or water element, fire element. I saw when I was one time in Germany, I saw in the television article about one man. He took metal, very strong metal, and they show his body with the camera of infrared. And suddenly he became red, 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 red. And he took the metal and he broke it with his head. It was amazing. I didn't believe that such things like this. He just himself red, red, red. By infrared, you can see it. And then suddenly he break it. So you see, of course, people can break many, many stones. It's just how the mind affecting of the klapa, the influence on the klapa, that it will change the form. For example, people, they can walk through the walls or other things like this. So this is what we call body affected by the mind. Now, another things which is very, very important things, it's body affected by karma. And then, for example, one thing you can see it in the moment of people dying. When they die, the karma is affecting them, which birth they will be. If they will be human being, animal, angels, or whatever. If they will be with how many sense doors they can be, okay? Or if they're reborn, even material from outside, if they will be rich or beautiful, or all these things, if they have enough condition like temperature or what kind of country they're reborn. So you see how the karma affecting us for one life to another life. But it's not working only for one life to another life. It's also affecting in one's life during his span of life. But in this case, the karma will not come alone to affect the body. It will influence about other conditions. I said that the body can influence by 4 things. Influenced by temperature, influenced by food, influenced by the mind, and influenced by karma. But they're not only working by themselves like this. The influence between them. For example, I give you an example. People walking very hot. So what happened to them? They get dry. So the temperature influence on the food, because what is drinking? Drinking it's a food, okay? So you see that the temperature affected on the of the food, okay? Now can be that the food affected on the temperature. For example, people eat chili, suddenly their body became hot, okay? So here you see the effect, how the one element or one things pushing or influence on other things. And other things, for example, if you are anger, or this, okay, and then you have problem in the stomach or blood pressure, okay, or things like this. So this is a relationship between. Also, the karma is there. So sometimes in the life happen to us things that we say, this is because of bad karma, because of something in the past. But the bad karma itself don't act by itself. It's influence on another things. Okay? So that's why sometimes maybe not enough food, or we don't have enough drink or whatever like this. Okay? So according to this, you have different kind of sickness. So people sometimes they think that if you are sick, it's enough to practice meditation. So we say it's not enough, because why? I told you that the body affected by these 4 elements. So if you have any sickness, which is depend on temperature, this one you need to go to the doctor. You need to adjust the temperature of the body. Okay, maybe you don't drink enough, maybe you don't eat enough, or whatever. Yeah, but this effect, you need to drop the temperature from. So sometimes they give you cold or whatever. So it's not mean that only the normal doctor. So you have allpractic, like doctor that give you some medicine, any kind of thing. So this is one kind of sickness. The doctor will have to take care for you, what we say. The second one is the sickness that influenced by the food. And this also the meditation increasing the immune system, but is not solving. You need to adjust your food. Maybe you eat too much from something, or missing some vitamin or something like this. So the sickness which is depend on food, it's also have to go to the doctor, have to adjust you like this. If we talk about sickness that is depend on the mind or karma, this is only the meditation will help. That's why the people they go, they have cancer or something like this. This is karma, we say, or mind, and this is all this chemio and things like this. They are just destroying the body. They're not really solving the problem. In this case, people have to practice and to overcome their karma in the best way with the practice, either samatha, either vipassana. But this will not be the medicine itself, all this, what we take, I don't know whatever medicine, it's even can affect the body. So we have to be careful from this. Okay? So if you have karma, many times they use the word of psychosomatics or whatever. So this kind of sickness, only the meditation can help to this. Okay. So I say about the recovering by the samatha and vipassana, but we have to understand that what we are doing when we are practicing vipassana, we are cleaning the mind from the greed, anger, delusion, from the attachment, from the tanha. So slowly, slowly, we can see very clear that the body is anicca, it's dukkha and anatta. And the mind learning to let go, to be free from attachment. This is my, this is I, this is I am. And actually, this is the only way to overcome suffering of the body. Because if you recover the body and you still attached to it, you still identified with this, so the suffering will not go with this. It just change another karma will come, and another karma will come, another effect of food will come. But in the moment that we are practicing vipassana, we are realizing the anicca, dukkha, anatta, and cleaning the mind from the kilesa, making the stage of what we call nirvana, then the mind is letting go this materiality. He's not dependent on it. He don't recognize it something belong to him, and then he's free from him. Okay, so this is something like explanation a little bit about what the meaning of materiality in Buddhism, how it's related to our sickness, and this is not about physics. It's about ending the anicca of how the body is changing very, very fast. How different kind of conditions, outside conditions, okay, or mind also. And if we hold it as I am, this is mine, then the suffering will never go. But in the moment that we just letting go, we understand this is not belong to me. This is just something which he changed by himself, and this is by insight. It's not by intelligence, because even I can explain you now, it's just give you some kind of idea and intelligence. But if you get it with the vipassana as an insight, then you let go, you are free from this. And then you don't hold it anymore. Anyone have questions? Difficult subject, huh? But I think it's important to talk about this sometimes. Normally, we don't materiality. We talk about the mind. We just mention rupa. Rupa, anicca, but you see that rupa, it's not something. It's just the characteristics. Please, Martin?
Ajarn, can you just say the four characteristics? It was hardness, gravity, temperature, and what was the other one?
You have like the expansion. Okay.
Expansion. Ah,
Yeah. That's why we say earth element, water element, okay? Like you have a fire element is the temperature, okay? That's why you see in the Chinese, India, the Ayurveda, they speak about four element, okay? And when people are practicing samatha, they are concentrating on four element. This is actually from these four element, all the other element coming. The 28 characteristics, they are how to say, they are the born from these four elements. The basic is these four elements. Okay, all these 28 they call rupa. Okay, but all these 28 space, it's not something. Space is a characteristics. It's an element in but it exists. Okay, between rupa to rupa, between, sorry, not rupa to rupa, between klapa to klapa, there is distance. This is space. This also, you can say this is also rupa. Okay, like colors, it's rupa. But it's again, it's just characteristics. It's not really somethings. It's not substance. And then when these four elements, which they are not substance, they are meeting, then you can say there is a substance. Why? Because our mind recognizes it like this. He see the color, so he says something is there. He hear the sound, so something making the sound. Okay, he smell the taste and the smell, so it smell of something. Huh? But actually, it's just a smell. It's just a hearing, seeing, smelling. That's why when we are practicing, we acknowledge hearing, 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 seeing, seeing, seeing. We don't acknowledge picture. This is go direct to the point.
So what makes up clapper?
Sorry?
So what makes up clapper?
The klapa, it's when these four elements that we just talked about now, the hardness, the gravitatia, okay, like want to contract inside, they want to split out, spread, okay. So what happened to this hardness? Is something like became in one certain area, three-dimension area, because in one side you want to go out, and on one side is something which lock in some space and include temperature. So what happened with this combination of four of them immediately create some other things. Like I said, like color, taste, smell, sound, okay? And touch it, something like this. But who is smelling? Who is tasting? It's our mind. You understand? So when you take many, 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 then you see, there is a table, there is a chair, okay? But this is concept to say that there is a chair. Here we come into the concept. Even when we give it a name, okay, we say this is a chair. Chair itself, the word chair, it's a concept. We call sacha, panyati. Concept in Pali, we say panyati. Okay? When you see human being, it's a combination of many, many klapa like this, okay? But these klapa by themselves, they're just energy, or they are characteristics. But the mind cannot see, even an enlightened person is not capable to see klapa. He see human being, he see car. He cannot see to see this very, very deep atom. You need concentration. To see the quantum, you need to see concentration for this. So we looking at the things out of perception. I receive this is computer. You understand? Same like I gave example of the Lego. When you look at many, many bricks of Lego, you see car, you see airplane, you see I don't know what. But actually, this is many, many bricks glued together. In the moment that you break them, suddenly it's just bricks. You understand? So actually, if you talk about physics, this is many, many atoms. This is not end. But the mind cannot see the atom, cannot see the electron. You see end. You understand? So this is concept already. But we talk about physics. That's why I say atom, okay? According to Buddhism, it's not atom. It's not the balls that running around the circle like this. I don't know. Yeah, this is every child. You see them, how atom looks like. Okay, but in the Buddhism, it's not built like this. it's just the combination of these four elements when they come together, then the other characteristics coming to be, which color, temperature, color, sound, and this, and when we can recognize it by our sense doors, and then we can say, okay, there is something there. Okay? Exist is exist. You cannot say it's not exist. But in which way we perceive it, this is different from the reality. Okay? For I gave example about the coin, that when the child walking on the street, he see €1. He's very happy. Why is happy? Because he see game. When the adult going on the street, he see €1. He's very happy. Why? He see money. When the scientist walking on the street, he see euro, €1. He's just neutral because he see material. So he is the most close to the reality, the true reality. You understand? So for us, when we practice Vipassana, we can see reality more and more clear. That body is not something constant. People say, this is the same body since I born till now. I'm the same person. You are not the same person. Every second, every split second, you are changing. The body rising and ceasing, changing all the time. When we practice Vipassana, we can see when you see in Uttarapayana, you see the anicca. Actually, in Samasanayana, this is the third yana, already you can recognize it. Because then you can understand anicca, dukkha, anatta. It means you see everything is changing all the time. This is already the third yana. Okay, in Uttarapayana, you can see the rising and ceasing of conditions. That they are not like a flame of the candles, it's not one. It's I told you, one daughter, one mother bring daughter, the daughter bring another daughter, but then this die, and this die, and then this die. So that's why it stayed the same size. Never, not became bigger or smaller. Okay, but actually it's all the time changing, rising and ceasing condition.
Thank you, Ajarn.
Welcome. Petition.
So Ajarn, it's very clear. It's very clear. And what I taught in the beginning, I stopped to study about Buddhism. I believed or I thought through the practice I can reach. And now when I hear this, it is very, I can understand from my inside a lot, yeah. And then I see that thinking about that is no possibility to understand this, yeah.
No, this is Abhidhamma. No, you
Yeah,
cannot.
there's the difference I can see very well, yeah.
That's correct.
And my question is, how important for us practicing and to study about Buddhism, so like this, to hear the Dhamma, how we combine them together, how long you have to practice, because practicing in the same time listening to Dhamma, it can confuse you sometimes because you are going to think about it, analyze about it, not to understand inside. How long you have to practice to hear the Dhamma or whatever it is. I don't know how to explain it.
You know, these things is one of the first things that I learned when I was in Wat Lampong. Yogi. Yeah. And it was this question or this answer for this was exist on the door of the library. It was many books inside. And when you enter to the library, it was the door, okay? And on the door, it was a sign with the A4. It was written, our teacher recommend us to read 1 hour and to practice words.
Practice what? I could not hear it.
I say, on the library, it was when you enter to the library, many, many books inside, okay? So there is a door. So before you open the door, on the door, it was like A4 paper. And it was written there, our teachers recommend us to practice to read 1 hour and to
Yes.
practice 2 hours.
Okay.
I
I
understand
got it.
the
Yes.
practice is much more important, but what happens is that when you are practicing more, you even when you come and I teach you mindful prostration, walking and sitting, still it's what we call pariyati. It's teaching. It's still not pati pati. You still didn't start to practice, okay? But then you practice, I start to explain you about or the teacher start to explain you about your own experience. And how
Yes.
much you practice more, you will understand intuitively higher level. So then we can either talk about what you understand already, either give you opinion what the Buddhism think about the things deeper, which you are not capable to figure out by yourself. Because to understand this klapa, you need strong concentration. This the Buddha could make it. Sariputta
Mhm.
could understand it, but Sariputta is the only one which could understand this a bit. The Buddha transferred Buddha only and angels, okay, to his mother, to Sita heaven. He go to towards Timsa heaven, he meet his mother, and 3 months he teach her there. And Sariputta, every day, he preached this Abhidhamma to him. So it's mean that these things, it's very, very high. Normally people, they don't talk about this. I think that sometimes it's good to talk about this. Whatever
So
people who get Ajarn,
in my case, it helped me a lot. I understood this insight, but I cannot talk about it. I could not explain about it. Yeah. Now I see uh, it's getting free in the moment and less attachment und less uh, Gier, Hass, Verblendung, wie called,
no,
Greed.
guilt, anger, delusion. It
illusion,
is
yeah.
getting less and less and less, and
Correct,
it's
correct,
getting clear. Yeah.
correct, correct.
It's, thank you very much.
Welcome. I think that it's very important to put it on the table, but we should not be attached to it.
Yeah.
We get everybody will understand. One time I said to some monk, I'm origin coming from Thailand as a monk, and I expressed to one of my friend, Thai monk, I say, I don't know to speak Thai. My Thai is very, 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 very little. What should I do? He said, Ofer, you talk. The people have the ability to understand, they will understand.
Oh. Mhm.
Understand? So we are exposing things. The people which will be able to understand, how much they will understand is already good. Maybe next time they listen again, they will understand more deep. Maybe they understand, they listen to it again, they will understand more. This is actually what happened to me with Tanat. I was sitting near Tanat. He all the time said the same things. I understood it differently. Every time I understood different. Many years, 35 years, I was sitting nearby him, 30 years, more than 30 years. He all the time repeat the same things, never change. I all the time understood it different, more deep, more deep. At the end, it depends on me. But I think that or in the Buddhism, we don't hide anything. It's all the Dharma is shown to everybody. This is one of the characteristics of the Dharma, that it's not hide from anyone. But normally, I found out that normally people, they don't talk about rupa. What the meaning of rupa? They say rupa, it's a body. But rupa, it's not a body, it's materiality, which is totally not something. You understand? And this why it's called elementary things, because the solidity you cannot cut. Klapa you can cut. And klapa is combination of four things, which is if you say this is a substance or something, this is the smallest part of the nature, but it's still, you can break it into 4 pieces. Okay, this is the solidity, and the fluidity, the contraction, and the temperature. Okay,
Thank you very much, Lisa.
welcome. Bitteschön.
Ajarn,
Yes, please, Marcus.
I just wanted to add something. I recommend want to know about mind and matter because you talked about Jesus walking on water, and in the Visuddhimagga, it's explained how to do it. It's not easy, but I recommend the Niyana Tiloka translation. I was interested, and I only can recommend it because everything you said is in this book. The connection between mind and matter.
Yeah. In the Visuddhimagga, he talk about exactly how to practice. He tell about how you take box and this, but this is samatha. This is not vipassana. Yeah, because he explained about concentration, so he talk about also the jhana and all these things. But we have to take everything in the right proportion, that we don't miss the point. Because at the end, even I explaining now, not to explain all this kind of, not physical, not to explain about the jhana and all how the mind is affected. I talk about this because it's part of the nature. But mostly my aim is to show that rupa or materiality is also anicca, dukkha, anatta. And as long as we attach to it, we are staying in the samsara under suffering. We are living in the delusion that this is my, this is I am. In the moment the person practicing vipassana, he cutting the attachment to this materiality. He understanding anicca, dukkha, anatta, the materiality as anicca, dukkha, anatta, and then he can be free from this jail.
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
About science and Buddhism.
Yeah.
And because Buddha is said to be omniscient, that he knows everything.
Yeah.
Yet in the suttas, in the old texts, there is one thing in a long sutta, I think, it's explained that earthquakes happen because the giant turtle, which the world rests upon, is sneezing. And of course, we know it's tectonics. It's not a giant turtle that is sneezing, and the world doesn't rest on a giant turtle. So either this means the Buddha is not omniscient, or he never said it. So that's my question. It's opposite to science.
No. You can see, because when the Buddha, he was on the way to, when the Buddha, he let go his life, Ananda, he stand aside. The Buddha, because, in the Mahaparinirvana Sutta, there is a small part, or small or long, doesn't matter. There is a part which is talking about 8 kinds of earthquake. Okay? And then what the story behind this is that the Buddha give hint to Ananda. He said to Ananda that if someone develop let's say the Iddhipada, he can stay longer. But Ananda didn't understand that what actually Buddha had asked him, give him hint, ask me to stay. If you ask me to stay, I will live. Now I'm 80 years, maybe I can live till 100 years if I make the effort, and I'm using this Iddhipada, the 4 great power of success, okay? Which is not what I want to say now, but just to mention that Ananda didn't understand. So the Buddha, Ananda said, okay, he go. So he go. And then Mara come to the Buddha, and he took advantage on this, that the Buddha have 4 assemblies. Monks, men, monks, women, bhikkhuni, bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, lay men that know the Dharma and also teaching, and lay women that know the Dharma and the teaching. And the Buddha, he make a wish that when he will have this assembly, or let's say till he have this 4 assembly, he will keep teaching. He will not leave us. But in this moment, the Buddha was 80 years old, and he already fulfilled this mission. He have already 4 assembly. So Mara took advantage of this, and he came to the Buddha in this moment. He used the situation that Ananda didn't ask the Buddha, and the Buddha didn't make any promise to stay. And he tell the Buddha, you promise, after you got enlightened, that after you will have 4 assembly of bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, laymen and laywomen that are capable to teach, they are developed by themselves and capable to teach, you will let go. Why don't you let go? So Buddha cannot go against it anymore. So what the Buddha make? You will get what you want, the evil one. He called him evil one, the bad one. You want me to stop teaching, and I cannot say no now, because this is what you ask me, it's legitimate, you're right. So the Buddha, he let go his life, and in this moment what happened, it was earthquake. So then Ananda was shocked. Wow, what is this great earthquake? So he came to the Buddha and he asked him, what is kind of, I was feeling the earthquake. What is the meaning of this earthquake? So the Buddha said to Ananda, there is 8 reasons for earthquake. For example, when the Buddha, I think, come into the stomach of his mother, when the Buddha getting enlightened, or I cannot remember all of them, but one of them, he say, when the yogi making supernormal power. And this is related to what you are saying. When someone has strong concentration, using his strong power to make earthquake. And this is exactly what you are saying. This refers to your, so it's not mean that the Buddha didn't know, he knew it. Even, I don't know, yogi in the Himalaya will do it, he will still will cause earthquake in our place. Because he put himself into one of the 4 elements, maybe the air element. And then he influence on the earth, and we all will feel it. Okay? Okay. And you're also talking about the earthquake that you just mentioned before, that when the element of water come into the element of the earth, and he's shaking the tectonic. So this is also one of them that the Buddha mentioned there. He didn't neglect this. He said there, when the element of the rupa coming together, it's a total earthquake.
If I find the sutta with the turtle, I will send you an email. I don't know where it is, but please, thank you.
But it's answer to your question, huh?
As good as it is.
As good as it is. Please.
Ajarn?
Yeah, please.
I have a maybe stupid question, but I was starting to think now, because I'm a scientist, I can very much relate to rupa concept, very much. So this makes a lot of sense to me. But then the question comes up, what is the mind? Is it the opposite of rupa, or what is it? And that's where I currently start to think.
You currently start to think this is mind.
Yes, I know. I'm aware. My mind starts to think.
You are laughing now. You're happy. This is mind. You know very well what is mind, but I cannot tell you that this is material. Mind and material is 2 different things. You are looking for answer to describe you the mind through the material, and it will not function. It's 2 different things.
Yeah.
It's the same like you said, I tell you I was making jogging in the forest. You say, but I don't understand how you make jogging in the water. No, I cannot make jogging in the water. It's a different element. I can swim in the water, but I cannot swim on the forest. It's a different element. Mind have different characteristics. By the way, it's not only mind. This is called jitupada. Because you have to understand mind is one thing, and the other things is the jetasika, what we call sankara, anger, worry, doubt, lazy. They are going together. They are a combination of together. The man is going with the shadow after him. Okay? So this complex is called jitupada. Jita, it's one thing, the mind is one thing. Jetasika, let's say the sankara, anger, worry, doubt, effort, this is something else. This is going with the mind as a shadow. And then we get someone that is loving kindness and someone with compassion. Okay? So they're rising and ceasing by themselves. Faster than the rupa. Much more fast. The mind is much more fast. Let's say if the mind is 1, to create this group, what we call klapa. When the klapa coming, stay sometimes and falling, the mind make 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then the klapa dying.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? The klapa is coming, stay and falling, the mind 79 was running into. In the second, when the klapa start to come up, then he will be the best one. Then he will give another klapa. In this moment, she will give a birth.
Mm-hmm.
Then she will start to decay slowly, about another 16 thought moment, and then she will die. And then after this one come up, she will give another birth, another birth. So every time, every 17, the grandmother dying, and then the new generation coming. So when we look, we think this is one thing, but actually it's all the time rising, ceasing. Of course, the atom all the time changing inside us. Okay, if we talk like the scientist.
Only through the mindfulness you can observe it a little?
No. By concentration, you can observe it. In the mindfulness, you can notice the nature of it. You can understand the nature of it. With the concentration, then you can see it. If you have strong concentration, you can see it. The Buddha could see it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Welcome. That's why I say even enlightened person will not see it. You will see human being. But if you use strong concentration, so he can see the things coming up and going very, very fast. So that's why when we practice vipassana, we have combination of mindfulness with concentration. So you can go through the nature much higher. Okay? Arahant already need the jhana. It's not enough. You need already jhana. So anagami also need concentration to reach the stage like this. Sotapan Sakadagami, not necessary. They even access concentration, very basic of concentration, they can go on. They can do it. Bitte. I'm very happy that you can understand. It's not easy. I took the challenge. I said, we must talk about it sometimes. I cannot hide it. And whoever understand. And this is, I see that you're asking all these questions. I'm very happy about it. Show that really you're understanding what the subject. It doesn't matter about me. You can read it or whatever. But you're capable to understand this, and it's not easy.
In the beginning, we have been talking about these topics. I wanted to explain her a little bit, but as he's a scientist, I could explain something, but it's so difficult. What I understand, what I see to explain it is too difficult.
Yeah. I hope that I could transfer. That's why I have candles or something like this, that is showing how from things which they are not the something became something. So I try to think about how to digest it so you also can somehow understand. But as long as you, in the future, you hear it again, you understand it more deep. And then you hear it again, you understand it more deep. And then you hear it again. Now you get every one of you, even me, still certain level. But as much as we hear it again, we hear it again, so we can see different point of views. Same like I told you, I sit near Tanat so many years. He all the time repeat the same things. Every time I understood differently.
Mm-hmm.
So many times he say, acknowledge it and let it go. In the very beginning, I even didn't understand what he mean. Acknowledge it and let it go. What is doing? So slowly it starts. Even simple things like this, basic things for our practice. So this is normal for the Dharma. When you listen Dharma, in the time you understand more and more and more. You clarified more doubt and you're capable to understand more deep. So it's okay, whatever you understood, even if you think you didn't understand anything, still it's something, food for you to start to digest. And again, it's not about physics. We are not talking about now about how the material is there or blah, blah, blah. This is not the idea. The essence is to show you, even this body that I get it, I born with this body, to show you that this is just change every split second, and it's anicca. And it just depends on 4 elements that I just talked about: is temperature, food, my consciousness, okay, and the karma that I create in the past. Actually, it's not really I can control it, okay. And how much I will clean the greed, anger, delusion, I will less be attached to it, and then I can be free from it. Not suffer from his own suffering, from all this dependence of sickness that anyway I will have sometimes. I cannot run away from aging and sickness and then dying. But if I attach, I suffer. In the moment that I don't attach, then I don't hold it, I don't suffer from this. Anicca things. Bitte schön. Good. So thank you very much. And I wish for all of you that from all the good things you make, all the wisdom you are gaining, all the, let's say, punya that you gain, all these things will be for you condition for Makapala Nirvana, that you find the real happiness. Dankeschön.
Sadhu,
And
sadhu, sadhu.
pay respect again to the Buddha, Dhammasanga. Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhan Bhagavantam Abhivatem Sawakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamman Namasam Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghan Namami. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Ajarn.
Welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome.